Morning, we're on the record in the matter of Harris Bay v. Harris Bay, D21629755D. This is time and date for prejudgment divorce proceeding. No minor children. Mr. Thelman, can I get your appearance on behalf of plaintiff?
Good morning, Your Honor. David Thelman, number 12501 for the plaintiff, Sherilyn Harris Bay.
All right. And Mr. Harris Bay, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Sir, would you state your name for the record, please?
Timothy Harris Bay.
All right. Sir, I'm going to need you to turn on your camera. We are at trial, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's on now. Can you not see me?
Say again?
My camera's on now, so if you can't see me,
I
that's an
cannot
issue with
see
the video.
you, and I will have to see you for trial.
Yeah, I'll get it fixed.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate that. All right. So, folks, this is a prejudgment proceeding. Date of marriage is December 28, 2019. It's 3 years to date. The parties were previously married on October 28, 2011 in D590570. That matter was resolved by summary decree of divorce on June 5th, 2019. I would note that one of the items that was managed in that decree was a 2018 Ford Focus. On Mr. Harris Bay's pretrial memorandum filed on April 4th, he indicated that 2018 Ford Focus VIN ending 0780 was likely already resolved, but there was an order for it. I don't have an affidavit or resident witness on file, so I will be taking testimony today to clear up that defect, including the statutory questions that were required to ask for a divorce proceeding. Mr. Thelman, any preliminary matters housekeeping for plaintiff?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Any preliminary matters for you, sir? Sir, can you hear me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So we go till noon on today. I do need some time before noon to do orders resolving stuff. Mr. Thurman, did you have an opportunity to take a look at the pretrial memorandum that was filed yesterday?
I did.
Okay, all right. Have a seat. Mr. Thurman, you want to do an open or not?
Very briefly, Your Honor, yes.
Okay.
You said yesterday, Your Honor,
I'm sorry, April 4th, not yesterday.
Okay. I wanted to make sure there wasn't a new one. So, as Your Honor already mentioned, these parties were previously married and divorced, and then they got married again. Almost immediately after the first divorce, Mr. Harris Bay purchased a condominium, and then about a month later, the parties remarried again. Initially, not only in my client's complaint, but also in the defendant's counterclaim, it was stated that my client should keep the condominium and be responsible for the outstanding mortgage. However, in his pretrial memo, Mr. Harris Bay is arguing something different. There was a reply filed in this case. There was never a motion to amend the pleadings. I would ask that the court hold him to that and award the condominium to my client. There's also issues with the condominium that, even though he's claimed repeatedly that he's been taking care of all the household expenses, he hasn't been doing that. The mortgage is months behind, and that also indicates an intention by Mr. Harris Bay to relinquish the property. With regard to the vehicles, as Your Honor already stated, the vehicle should be, the 2018 vehicle should be my client, the Ford Focus. With the financial accounts, we have evidence that Mr. Harris Bay has not disclosed everything. There's at least one cryptocurrency account, and there are other accounts that he didn't disclose. So we're asking for an order that he do disclose those assets, and any accounts that he has as of the date of this hearing be split 50-50. With regard to the unsecured debts, my client is asking that one half of that be paid by Mr. Harris Bay. and I think the testimony will show that that's fair and equitable. Even though this is a short-term marriage, evidence is going to show that during the marriage, my client, she has almost no work experience. Her last job was in fast food. She's currently not working. And Mr. Harris Bay's income, on the other hand, went from about $6,000 a month to $10,000 a month. So we are asking for spousal support for a term of 22 months. And there's also allegations that Mr. Harris Bay has unrightfully withheld unemployment benefits that were collected in my client's name. So we're asking that that be reimbursed to my client at least 50%. There's also tax money that Mr. Harris Bay withheld, including tax money that he received because of my client's 2 children. He kept that for himself, so we're asking that to be reimbursed to my client. If there are repairs needed to the condo, that needs to be decided who's going to be responsible to pay for that as well. And then finally, as far as attorney's fees go, even though this is a short-term marriage, it is a sergeant's fees case. My client has struggled to pay my firm, and we are asking for an award of attorney's fees. There's evidence that she took out a personal loan from someone to be able to retain our services, but she still owes us a significant amount of money. Another theory is that Mr. Harris Bay has not taken a reasonable position. In his pretrial memo that he recently filed, he's essentially saying he should be awarded everything in his name, which is basically everything the parties have, because everything is in his name.
Thank you, Mr. Tom. Sir, do you wish to make an opening statement?
Yes, ma'am. I would just like to clarify one thing. Our attorney mentioned that the house was purchased roughly 1 month after we married, which is not true. We were divorced in June. We were married in December, but the house was purchased in July, so roughly 6 months after that. I have been taking care of, fully responsible of the home, in addition to providing financial support to Sherilyn during the entire 3-year period due to my military obligation. And she knows that. She's constantly been in contact with my superiors and making sure that she's giving her money every month. So I believe that considering the length of the marriage, which was about 1 year before the divorce was filed, I've been since then paying support for over 1.5 years, and including to paying for her car and the home that she's living in. As you mentioned, when we initially filed the divorce, I agreed to give the condo to her, but that was an attempt to reach a settlement. And since then, she is not willing to reach any settlement with the condo, and she wants, as you mentioned, 20 months worth of support and several $1,000s worth of money that I can't afford, and I'm not willing to pay without a court order. So basically, I would just like to retain the condo and then my possessions from the condo, which is just my firearms. Everything else, the furniture, things like that, she can keep. I have no interest in anything else other than what I already own, and it's in my name. That's all.
All right. Mr. Thurman, I did want to ask you, since you mentioned it during your opening, that there were undisclosed accounts. And
Yes, Your Honor.
was that dealt with in discovery, or?
It was not.
So, what are you requesting today?
Just in order that the accounts be divided.
Accounts that we don't have any documents or proof for?
There's some proof of it. For example, I have proof that he has these accounts, at least some of them, but I don't have any proof as to how much is in the accounts.
Right. So folks, we are pre-judgment, so plaintiff will go first. Mr. Thurman?
I call the defendant, Mr. Timothy Harris Bay.
Sir, if you'd raise your right hand and be sworn, please.
Mr. Harris, can you hear me?
What the judge is going to do is order that he needs to sign that car over to you.
I apologize for that. Seems we lost connection temporarily.
Can you please raise your right hand? You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Timothy Harrisburg.
So folks, just you can put your hand down, sir. Just a reminder, it's 90 minutes per side. Please tailor your arguments accordingly. I'll need about 15 minutes before the end to resolve. Make sure that you speak clearly. And sir, I just need to make sure that you're always on camera, okay? Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Tillman?
Yes. Right. That's okay. Course indulgence. All right, sir. So the condominium that's in your name, when was that purchased?
Approximately July of 2020. Oh, no, sorry, July 2019. I'm sorry, July 2019.
Okay, and that is when strike that. You were divorced from Miss Harris Bay when for the first time?
June, I believe it finalized May or June of 2019, that same year.
Okay, so you purchased the condo very shortly after the first divorce, correct?
Right, we were living in base housing, and because we were divorced, I was forced to move out of base housing, and that's why I purchased the condo.
Okay, now do you have our exhibits ready for your reference?
Yes.
Okay, I'm directing your attention to our proposed exhibit 40. Let me know when you've located it.
Wait 1 second.
Do you have it?
Okay, yep, I have it. It's an envelope.
No, I think you're looking at our disclosures. There was a separate set of exhibits.
Okay, this is just the Dropbox and the email I got 2 days ago. Okay, I think I found it.
It should be marked at the bottom PLT 469. Is that what you see?
Yeah, it'd be easier if you gave me the page number, because it's not letting me do it any other way.
Well, that would be the page number, PLT 469. It's on the lower right hand.
469.
Did you find it?
469. Yeah, it's my leave and earnings statement.
Okay, so you recognize the document. What is the date on it?
The date on this is 1 to 31 December 2020.
So that would have been shortly after you remarried Miss Harris Bay, correct?
Yes.
And what does it show as your gross monthly income at that time?
The end of month pay is $4,927.79.
Okay, and then there's also a portion where it shows your total pay, including benefits. How much is that?
Total entitled. I'm sorry, that's $6,020.51.
And at that time, did you have any other income?
Negative.
Okay, so is this a fair and accurate copy of your LES from that time period?
It seems to be accurate, yes.
At this time, I move to admit proposed Exhibit 40.
Sir, do you have any opposition to admission of this exhibit?
No, ma'am.
Plaintiff's 40 is admitted, no objection.
What is your current gross monthly income, sir?
Roughly $10,000 a month, but I like to explain that. The reason that my monthly income increased substantially when I went to Korea is because I'm being afforded the payment of 2 households. The military is giving me money to pay for my home in Las Vegas and also for my home in South Korea. But that's going to end next month when I move back to America. So the current income I have now is not going to be accurate a month from now, even 2 months from now.
All right, do you know how much it's going to go down to?
I would say at least $3,000 less because currently I receive a housing payment and utility allowance of about $3,000. I also receive an extra $300 a month for being in Korea. So roughly $3,500 will go down that monthly.
Okay. But at this time, that's speculative, isn't it? Because you don't have any.
That's factual. I have an assignment. I don't want to disclose my location where I'll be going to because I've received numerous death threats from the plaintiff. But I will be back in America May 2nd. So.
Okay. Well, referring to the LES as you attach to your financial disclosure form. I had thought you had done a more recent one.
Are you referencing the April 4th FDF, Mr. Philman, or something?
I have that one. I believe so, Your Honor.
Yeah, if you're asking something I didn't hear, it seems odd. You might have cut out. I'm not sure. Just waiting for me to say something.
Do you have a copy of your most recent financial disclosure form handy?
Yes.
And on your most recent LES attached to that form, where does it show that you received the extra money for paying for 2 households?
So if you look at it's a line C. It says BH. That's basic allowance for housing. Basic allowance for housing. The way it works in the military is based on your location. You'll see mine is significantly higher than the base housing allowance for Las Vegas, Nevada. It's about double that. So it's not showing separate. They just combined the two. And if you can look it up by my rank is C7. It's public information how much I'll be getting paid for basic housing allowance in Las Vegas. So that amount is about double because of the housing allowance I'm getting for Korea as well.
Okay, so it's your contention then that once this change in your pay goes into effect, you won't be able to afford to pay Ms. Harris Bay any money.
That's correct.
Okay, even though you'll still be making significantly more than she's making at this time, right?
Yes, but she's also fully capable of working. She just chooses not to, and she's also renting out the house that I'm paying for, subletting it without my permission, and collecting money off of that as well. So.
And how much do you believe that she's renting? What is she renting a room out?
Yeah, the last I was told from her was that she was renting a room for about $600 a month. It could be more than that or less than that, but she will probably agree that that has happened.
And who told you that?
Hang on. How much, sir? I
She
didn't
did.
catch that.
She told me that it was about $600 a month she was charging to rent the room.
Sorry, Mr. Thumman?
That being said, your base pay still has gone up about $1,000 between Exhibit 40 and your current LES, correct?
Yes.
So your income has gone up during the marriage. You don't dispute that.
Military gets pay raises every year.
All right, now directing your attention to proposed Exhibit 33. The page number is PLT 396.
It's a picture of a debit card.
I'm sorry, it's a picture of what? You broke up.
That's a picture of a debit card, looks like, with my name on it.
Right, and so this is for an account you hold, correct?
Attempted to open a cryptocurrency account, but I never received the debit card, obviously because she has it. So I never actually put any money into the account because I can't use it because I don't have the debit card. So
Right.
It was mailed to my home address in Las Vegas.
But you wouldn't need the debit card in order to add money to your account, would you?
Right, but I wouldn't put money in the account unless I had a debit card and be able to use it.
Right, but isn't it true that when you have an account with this company, you can buy cryptocurrency online?
You can, yes.
And have you?
No.
So why would you
I
open the
currently
account?
own any cryptocurrency.
Why would you open an account with
because-
Crypto.com if you weren't intending on buying any cryptocurrency?
I was intending on it, but I never got the debit card. As you can see, it's a picture taken by the plaintiff. So I decided not to open an account because they wouldn't mail the debit card to my address in Korea. They would only mail it to a U.S. address. So obviously she wasn't going to send it to me, and she kept it. So I decided not to open an account.
Right, but you got this card because you opened the account, correct?
I never got the card. She got the card.
Right, but you opened the account and that's why they sent the card out, correct?
It's not a debit account. It's a cryptocurrency account. So if you own crypto, you can put money on the debit card from the cryptocurrency that you own. But since I was never able to get the debit card, I did not purchase any cryptocurrency.
So, yeah, but my question is, you got this card because you opened the account. You say you never received the card, but you could have purchased cryptocurrency, and isn't it true that that's the reason that you opened the account, to purchase cryptocurrency?
Mr. Thurman, that's been asked and answered. Can we move on? Mr. Thurman?
Yes, Judge. At this time, I move to admit proposed Exhibit 33.
Sir, do you have any objection to admission of plaintiff's 33?
No objections.
Plaintiff's 33, base 396, admitted, no objection.
Directing you now to proposed Exhibit 26, which begins on page number PLT 362.
I see it's a picture of another debit card.
Okay, do you recognize that account?
I recognize the name on the account.
Okay. Did you open an account with Albert Genius?
No, I did not.
So it's your contention you never opened the account that's attached to this card?
Yes.
Okay. This time I move to admit proposed Exhibit 26.
Sir, any objection to admission of plaintiff's 26, which is a total of 3 pages?
Negative.
Say again?
No, I have no objections, ma'am.
Plaintiff's 26, admitted, no objection.
I'm directing your attention now to our proposed exhibit 41. Which begins on PLT 470.
It's a notice of default and intent to accelerate.
And does it state which property it's referring to?
It's Smoky, for last name, Smoky Fog Avenue address.
Okay, and that's the condominium that you own in your name, correct?
Correct.
And do you see a date of the notice there?
December 2022.
Right, so is it your contention that you've been paying the mortgage on this property this entire time?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so
I had an issue with my checking account in November. I had to get a new checking account. I had automatic payments set up, and I missed a couple payments, but I caught it, and the mortgage is current.
all right, so it's your contention at this time the mortgage is current.
Yes.
When did you get caught up?
Right after that in January. So obviously I don't get these notices. They get mailed directly to her. So I find out kind of late in situations like this, but once I did find out, I took care of it.
This one, I got this, and this is the balance. March 22nd, 2026.
I'm sorry, when did you say you finally made the payment to get caught up?
I believe January.
Okay, so would it surprise you if I were to tell you that in March the balance due was over $6,000?
Then that would be completely incorrect. If you do some simple math, if December I owed $2,000, it wouldn't be up to $6,000 in March. That's only 3 months. It would be at the most $5,000.
I move to admit proposed exhibit 41.
Is there any objection to admission of plaintiff's 41?
No, ma'am.
Plaintiff's 41, admit, no objection.
Directing your attention to proposed exhibit 29. Which is marked PLT 387.
The deed for the house?
Correct. You recognize that document?
Yes.
All right. And what is the date on that document in the upper right corner?
The date on the document in the upper right corner is July 17, 2019, but the date of the document is 12 July 2019.
Okay. And so, is this related to the condominium we've been speaking about?
Yes, this is the deed for the condo.
And then, subsequently, you married Miss Harris Bay again, correct?
Yes, obviously this document is dated 12 July 2019. We were married in December of 2019, so about 5 months later.
And at the time of the purchase of this condominium, did you make a down payment?
No, I did not.
And since purchase of the condominium, how have you been making the monthly mortgage payments?
Through their online website, the mortgage company is PennyMac.
And what money do you
log into their website and make the payments online that way?
Okay, and what money do you use to make those payments?
From my checking account.
And is that money that you're earning through the military, or is it other money?
It's from the military, yes.
At this time, I move to admit proposed exhibit 29.
Is there any objection to admission of plaintiff's 29?
No objection.
Plaintiff 29 admitted, no objection.
We also, we'll strike that. I'll direct your attention to proposed exhibit 23 now. And it begins with PLT 335.
It's a letter from the collection law group.
Okay, and why was the collection law group sending you a letter?
It's the homeowners association company.
Okay, so you had fallen behind on the payments to the HOA, correct?
So prior to me leaving for Korea, I made payments to the HOA via check every month in the mail. The last payment was made the last month I was in Korea. Sharon was supposed to be taking over, managing, paying the HOA, but she never did. So.
And why was she supposed to be taking over payments to the HOA?
Because the only way to pay it was via check in the mail. It was much easier for her to do it with her being in Nevada than me do it when I lived in South Korea.
Okay, so how much does it show as due, the amount owed?
It says $5,705.18.
Well, how much is the HOA payment per month?
It's $250, I believe. Something roughly. Yeah.
Have you subsequently made any payments toward the HOA?
I have not.
And isn't that because you wanted Sherilyn to make those payments?
She was supposed to be making it, yes.
Okay, so you.
At the time, I was also sending her money, so.
Okay, so you fell behind on not only the mortgage payments but also on the HOA payments, correct?
Totally different circumstances. The HOA is behind about 2 years, whereas the mortgage is current, and only fell behind for 1 month.
All right, at this time I move to admit proposed exhibit 23.
Is there any objection to admission of plaintiff's 23?
No.
Plaintiff's 23 is admitted, no objection.
Now, during the marriage, the second marriage, did you also enter into any kind of modification of the mortgage or do a loan modification on the mortgage?
Yes, I believe I did.
Okay. I'm directing your attention now to proposed exhibit 27. Which begins on PLT 377.
It looks like the home modification document.
And then directing your attention to the page that's marked plaintiff 382. Is that your signature on the document?
Yes.
And what's the date of that document when you signed it?
15 April 2021.
At this time, I move to admit proposed exhibit 27.
Is there any objection to admission of plaintiff's 27?
No objection.
Plaintiff 27 admit, no objection. Now, other than the HOA, were there any other accounts that you stopped paying after this case was filed, or after you and Ms. Harris Bay began to have marital problems for a second time?
If you're referring to a specific account, sure, just let me know.
For example, the Cox account.
The home internet, I believe.
Yes, the Cox account that is in your name.
Right. Yeah. So Sherilyn has all of my passwords, everything. Before I gave it to her before I went to Korea, and I kept getting locked out of the Cox account. She kept taking over it, so I just stopped paying it. So I let her get her own internet.
What about any health insurance? Did you cancel any health insurance for Ms. Harris Bay?
I didn't personally cancel it, but obviously I read through the exhibits, and the dental insurance, which is separate than the normal military health insurance, needs to be renewed every year. They mailed a letter to the home in Las Vegas, which is one of your exhibits, saying that it needs to renew it, and I never got the letter, so it didn't get renewed.
Has the military ever, or strike that, are you under, or were you under, since this case was initiated, any orders to pay Ms. Harris Bay any support?
Yes, I was temporarily for about a month, and then the order was rescinded.
And where did that order come from?
My commander at the time.
Okay, and how much did he order you to pay?
It was $1,296.60, I believe, which is, as I mentioned earlier, the BAH. That's the BAH locality rate. That's what I'm obligated to provide in support to my spouse every month. my previous commander and I didn't see eye to eye on how that support was to be provided. I thought that me paying the mortgage and paying for her car would cover that amount, since the mortgage was $1,000 and the car was $374. He decided that it should be a cash payment. So I was obligated to pay that cash payment for about 2 months, and then I got a new commander, and I talked to him about it, and he agreed with me, and he rescinded that order.
No, it's the same color.
Sir, can I get that figure from you again, please?
It's $1,296.60.
All right, but isn't it true that you were sending her only about $400 per month?
Initially, when we first filed the divorce, I was sending $1,100 a month, and then she basically threatened me that she's going to go to my boss and wanted me to pay more money. So I was like, okay, you can do that. And she went to the military and made many crazy accusations against me. And from that moment, I looked into the amount I was supposed to give her, looked into the BA's locality rate, and that's when I started just slowly going towards the minimum. So I went from giving her $1,100 a month, and then $800 a month, and then in December of 2022, it was my last payment of $400. So I basically kind of weaned her off the payments slowly. It wasn't like I just stopped giving her money all of a sudden.
Okay, and the mortgage payment on the condo is how much?
$1,000, $1,009 in change.
Okay, and on your financial disclosure forms, you've consistently claimed that you were making the mortgage payment every month, but that's not true, is it?
Right. There was 1 month that was behind, but the mortgage is currently current. So.
All right, directing your attention to proposed exhibit 25, which is beginning on PLT 359.
It's like a screenshot of some Zelle text messages.
Right,
Sending
so
her money.
isn't it true that this is the support payments that you sent to Miss Harris Bay?
Yes.
And what's your current commander's name?
Major Timothy Benefield.
And since when has he been your commander?
Since June of 2022.
And who was the prior commander that you didn't see eye to eye with?
Major Jared Struck.
Okay. Who is Colonel Wood?
That's the wing commander. He's my commander's boss.
At this time, I move to admit proposed exhibit 25.
Oh, how many foundations, Mr. Bowman?
Well, I'm sorry, I thought we got some. So these Zelle text messages, are these fair and accurate representations of the support payments that you Zelled to Ms. Harris Bay?
Yes. So as I mentioned, a new commander, he basically, instead of giving me an order like the previous commander did, he just said that your BAH, the amount you're getting for your spouse, he wanted me to give her that amount fully, but he would also take into account the home payment. So at the time, the BAH was $2,056. He took into account my mortgage and the car, and the rest I was supposed to pay to her in cash. And that's what the $414 is.
All right, now I move to admit proposed exhibit 25.
Is there any objection to admission of plaintiff's 25?
No objection.
Okay, plaintiff's 25 and no objection.
After the first divorce, what steps did you take to transfer title of the 2018 Ford Focus into Ms. Harris Bay's name?
I didn't do anything. It wasn't a concern for her or me at the time. It wasn't until I moved to Korea. After we had already filed the divorce, she kept asking me to put the car in her name because she wanted to have it because if the previous divorce granted. And I was like, okay. I asked her for a copy of the divorce decree because I needed that to give to the bank to show that the car was now in her ownership. And I didn't have it. She went and sent it to me. And then subsequently, I reached out to the court and I requested a copy of the divorce decree. But so I have a copy now, but I never went forward and actually transferred that car to her because we were still in the middle of the divorce proceeding at that time.
All right, now I'm directing your attention to proposed exhibit 15, which begins on PLT 297.
Mr. Tillman, you have 35 minutes left.
Thank you.
It's a TSP account number, my TSP account number.
It's for a thrift savings plan. Yeah. When did you open this account?
A long time ago. I'm not sure exactly, but it's currently empty. While I didn't make a down payment on the home I purchased in 2019, I needed a substantial amount of cash to pay off some debts in order for the bank to give me a loan. So I withdrew the money from my TSP, which was about $5,000 at the time, to pay off credit card debt in order for the bank to qualify me for the loan for the home. So as you see, this is dated 2019 or 2018. So,
Right, but you stated you took money out of the account, not that you closed it, correct?
Right. So I never put money back into it, so it's empty.
Why didn't you disclose that account on your financial disclosure forms?
Because it's empty.
Well, if that were true, why wouldn't you just provide documentation that it were empty instead of omitting it?
It's not a relevant account, so it didn't occur to me to show you an account with a $0 balance. But if you need to provide that, I will. It's not an issue.
So you're stating on the record that you'll agree to provide documentation of the balance on that account?
Yes.
And is this a fair and accurate representation of the thrift savings plan letter that you received in 2018?
It sure seems so.
Move to admit proposed exhibit 15.
Is there any objection to admission of plaintiff's 15?
No objection.
Plaintiff's 15 and no objection.
Are you aware of Ms. Harris Bay having received unemployment benefits while the two of you were married the second time?
Yes.
And do you know how she received those payments?
Direct deposit.
Into which account?
To the Navy Federal account.
And is that a joint account?
No, I don't believe so.
Directing your attention to How did Ms. Harris Bay come to be signed up for unemployment benefits?
She asked me to do it for her.
Okay, and when was that?
I'm not sure the exact date and the documentation of it. Yeah, I'm not sure. 2020, sometime early 2020.
Okay, and did you ever receive any of those unemployment funds?
They were deposited into an account that I managed to pay our expenses.
Okay, so you had access and control of those funds, correct?
Correct.
All right. Did you ever give any of that money to Ms. Harris Bay?
Yes, in the form of complete financial support. She wasn't working. I paid for everything. Not only that, I did transfer money into our joint account as well. But I had to limit the amount that we put in the joint account because she wasn't very good at managing money. She saw that we had money, she would try to spend it. That's why I had a separate account to make sure that I paid the bills first, and whatever was left over, I would put in our joint account.
Okay, and are you aware if there was an overpayment of that unemployment?
She told me that she got overpaid. Happened sometime after I left. She said that she got a letter in the mail and she showed it to me, but I'm not sure how or why she got overpaid.
And how long did the unemployment benefits continue to be deposited into your account?
I'm not sure exactly, probably from the time I started until I went to Korea.
But you're not sure. How could you
I'm not
be
sure the exact date. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, could we take a 5-minute break?
You're at 27 minutes. Folks, we're going to take a break. It's 10:08. We'll be back at 10:15. That's in 7 minutes, folks.